Hi there guys, today we're going to be looking at the construction of an ellipse, and as you can see we have two sets of axes in front of us. On the left hand side I'm going to be showing you how quick and easy the program of SolidWorks will be able to draw an ellipse for me, and on the right hand side we are actually going to be doing the full construction of the ellipse. Alright, to start off with, we know that our major axis is between A and B. It's the longest line over here. Major meaning big, and it's going to be the longest line. And our major axis is 120 millimeters, whereas our minor axis will be from between C and D, which is obviously a smaller line than A and B. Right, so to show how quick and easy SolidWorks will be able to do an ellipse, we simply go and click on the ellipse button. We go to the center, we open up to one of the points, and we open up to another point. And that's how simple it is to draw an ellipse on SolidWorks. Now, if we know that an ellipse will be going through the letters A, B, C, and D, we will quite honestly have the same result on the right hand side. We now just have to do this in a method, or using a method of construction. So, with the drawing instruments on your TD board, you will simply go and pick up your pencil and construct a line between A, or from A to C. In this instance, I'm going to have to prepare myself with a construction line. And I'm going to have to give it a color. I'm going to give it a green color, and I'm going to give myself the final line type, or borderline. Right, so we want to work in construction, and I'm going to select line tool, and I'm going to join my A to C. Right, that's our first step of constructing an ellipse. We now simply want to go to our arc tool, opening it up from the intersecting point in the middle all the way to B. We simply want to scribe an arc over the letter C or above the letter C. In this instance over here, we will label the center O. Here we go. So we have a point of reference. Right, now that we've scribed an arc over the letter C, we simply would like to go back to the line tool and extend that line to form yet another intersecting point above C. Remember, everything we do is going to have some merit, so we'll have to have method behind our madness over here. The reason for constructing this intersecting point is to find yet another letter, which would obviously be the next natural letter after D, which is E. I'm going to then go ahead and open up my compass, or in this case my arc tool on SolidWorks, and open it up from C to the intersecting point that I've created above C, and scribing my arc, creating yet another intersecting point. This intersecting point I will call F. Now take note that I have two lines on top of each other. I have the line AC, my original line, step 1, and I have the line AF. Now what I'd like to do is I'd like to go and bisect line AF and not AC. Go open up my compass from A over halfway and scribe an arc. Sometimes my arc tool on SolidWorks is a bit tricky to get into the right direction, but there we go. Right, I'd like to scribe an arc from A over halfway line between A and F. I'm going to use my compass yet again at the intersecting point, over halfway somewhere. That's perfectly fine. We will fix up the fact that these lengths between F and the arc and A and its arc aren't the same. We're simply going to make sure that these points are equal. Let's make that 45, which means that the point from F and its arc needs to be the same distance, 45. Remember, when you are using your compass, you will simply just not change the distance between the 2 points. Right. Now we have yet created more intersecting points that we are going to be working with. Take note that the line AC had a meaning to find F. The arc over C and the extension of C had a meaning to find E. The arc that eventually found the point F had a meaning to find point F. And now we're simply going to be going from this intersecting point through the intersecting point below to find yet another intersecting point over here between A and O. This intersecting point we're going to be calling G. We have yet another intersecting point down the bottom here between D and O, and we will call this H. All the hard work is basically done. If you could imagine, we have all the points needed on the left hand side and on the bottom half of this ellipse, but we do not have any points on the right hand side between O and B, and we do not have a point similarly to H between O and C. We do need that point. If you would like to, you could do this entire construction process to the right hand side, but we're going to take a little shortcut. Right. So what we really want to do is we want to find the distance from O to G and simply mimic that distance across to the right hand side. In your case, you'll be opening up your compass from O to G and you could simply scribe an arc to the other or the opposite direction between O and B. I'm going to show you what I mean. You could simply take your compass, put your compass point on O, go to G, and scribe an arc to find the opposite distance between O and B, and where that point touches the line there, it'll give you your next line. I'm going to call it J, and don't be too confused as to why I call it J rather than I. I looks like a 1, so because I'm working with letters of the alphabet, I don't really want to get myself confused or mixed up with numbers. Alright, so now that I have J, I'm simply going to be going from my next intersecting point through J and continuing with this line to form a longer line, and you will also notice that I have an upright V. This is important to find. Right, now that we found G's opposite being J, I would like to find H's opposite, which will then naturally be K, which will fall between C and O. So I go put my compass point on O, I open up to H, and I go and scribe my arc. Please note that the distance between O and H is exactly the same distance between O and the newfound point called K. Right. Now this may look like a lot of work, but I'm going to quickly delete these two arcs so that it doesn't look too confusing. And I'm going to simply draw a line from point K through point J to form the one part of my V, which would obviously be an upside down V, through G. Let's make sure that we did get the right points. Yes, we did. Right, like I said just now, I'm just going to delete these two arcs, just so that we're not too confused as to how we found how we constructed our ellipse. Right, now you would also notice that there are 4 vital points that I've created, K, G, H, and J. That forms a nice diamond shape. Alright, I don't want a kite shape, I want a nice diamond shape. And these 4 points are extremely important, as they will be telling us where we'll be putting our compass points for our necessary arc construction. Right, I'm going to open up from J to B, that is to scribe my arc. You will obviously be doing this with your compass. Put your compass point on J and open it up to B. It is vital here at this point in time that I'm working with a final line. You'll also notice that when you have opened your compass from J to B, it will be the exact distance from G to A as well. There we go. Let's change this line type to final line. I've now used G and J of my diamond. I'm now going to be using H and K to find the other two arcs. Put my compass point on K, and I do not open up to J, because if I open up to J, I simply won't be able to connect this point here to that point there. So the only other option I have is to actually open up my compass all the way to the other side. And if I had to construct my circle, you'll see that it naturally touches this side of the arc to that side. There we go. Let's change this line type to a final line. It also passes through the point D. Now that I've used G, J, and K, only H is left. So I can put my compass point on H and extend it all the way to where this point here needs to be connecting this point over here. Right, and obviously I want to change that line type to a final line as well. So just take a moment, look at the labeling, look at the construction method used, it is clear that my shape on the right hand side looks exactly like the shape on the left hand side. The shape on the right hand side has been constructed, and the shape on the left hand side has been drawn with a program, SolidWorks. Thank you for watching my lesson on how to construct an ellipse.